what?
And they serve their idols.
Isn't that what your ancestors did? Even when you look at our history here in America, you know what idol we serve? Right here. This is an idol. But how many of your ancestors worship that? Catholicism. Virgin Mary, right? That's an idol. That's an idol. That was taught to us in slavery. Your ancestors would not have bowed down to Virgin Mary or a white Jesus. They said, listen, if that's what's in heaven, I'd rather die here and not go to heaven. If you're in heaven, I don't want to be there.
Right.
That was your ancestors. Only how great you are, but how great you are and your people, all right? Coming from the tribe of Issachar, you got a rich history. Understand that before your people was even on this side of the world, what we call the Western Hemisphere, y'all was on the east, but y'all came over here through prophecy, Bible prophecy. Watch this, give me 2 Ezra 13 real quick. Let's educate my brother, Raul, right? You a king, you a god, man. You a god on this earth. When you talk about your ancestors and the rich history that they had, it was all taken from them. It was all taken from them. And it happened for a reason. But we're going to get you something real quick. Because our people, we all say indigenous, right? We all say I got Indian in the blood, right? But all those, we all the same people. But watch this, read.
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osei the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive.
So, we were oppressed the northern kingdom. These 10 tribes here, Ephraim, Manasseh, all the way down to Issachar. Y'all were taken away by the Assyrian king at this time, all right, of 539 BC.
Right.
Y'all were taken into Assyrian captivity, okay? Understand this. Watch this. Read.
And he carried them over the waters, and so came they unto another land.
So he took y'all to his land, right? When you conquer a people, you remove them, you displace them from their land, right? That's what happened to our people, right? We were displaced from the continent of Africa, right? Read.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
But the great leaders amongst the 10 tribes, Issachar being one of them, and I'm going to show you that. Read.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
They said we got to separate from the heathen. We got to leave the white man, the Asian man, the Iranian, the Arabian. We got to separate ourselves from these people. Read.
And go forth into a further country.
They said we got to get far away. Where this country at? Read.
Where never mankind dwelt.
Where what?
Where never mankind dwelt.
Where never mankind dwelt. Give me Jewish Encyclopedia, Arsarit. Where never mankind dwelt. Where was that at?
Get out.
Where did if this took place on the continent of Africa, right? Where did never mankind dwell? Think about history, what we taught in school. Where did never mankind dwell? What did Christopher Columbus discover?
Right.
The new world, right? Why do they say that? Because under his thought process, when you watch Manifest Destiny, he said Ezra speaks about the tribes being carried unto a new world. Watch this. We're going to keep reading. No, read where you at. Watch this. Read.
That they might keep this. Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
So mankind never dwelt here, right? Read.
That they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land.
So it was said that your people, just like yours, before slavery, what were we doing? What was our culture and heritage? We were keeping our commandments.
That's right.
The thought process initially is always to please God and do what's right to God. Would you agree? So the reason they said they got to separate from the heathen is because the heathen were teaching them their evil works. Give me Psalms 106:35. Watch this.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 106, verse 35. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works.
So you understand why they had to separate from the heathen? Because when they were mingled among the heathen, they did what?
They learned their works.
We learned their works. We were worshiping their gods. We were worshiping their idols. We were eating their foods. We was doing what they wanted us to do.
Right.
So your leaders, your ancestors said, yo, we got to separate ourselves from these people. We got to go far away into a land where never mankind dwelt.
Right.
Keep reading.
And they served their idols.
They did what?
And they served their idols.
Isn't that what your ancestors did? Even when you look at our history here in America, you know what idol we serve? Right here. This is an idol. But how many of your ancestors worship that? Catholicism, Virgin Mary, right? That's an idol. That's an idol. That was taught to us in slavery. Your ancestors would not have bowed down to Virgin Mary or a white Jesus. They said, listen, if that's what's in heaven, I'd rather die here and not go to heaven. If you're in heaven, I don't want to be there.
Right.
That was your ancestors. But watch this. They took the counsel to go into a land where never mankind dwelt. Read.
That they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Read.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river.
Yep.
For the Most High then showed signs for them.
So listen, now they entered into the Euphrates River. When you look at this map over here, right? So they on the east side of Africa, you will have the Euphrates River. You can enter into it, correct? You can enter into that river, and it was a great way to go. Read.
For the Most High then showed signs for them.
So the Most High showed signs to his people, read.
And held still the floods.
So while the Most High was holding still the floods, because when you are going through these waters here, it's the roughest terrain. Imagine the thousands of ships. They were docking back and forth until they came over, right? Who was helping them? Give me 1 Chronicles 12, verse 32. Watch this. This is your ancestors. This is what you are not taught. And the reason they don't teach you that because you would then return back to your true identity and heritage. Read.
1 Chronicles chapter 12 verse 32. And of the children of Issachar.
Hold on, the children of who?
The children of Issachar.
That's who you are. You are of the child of Issachar.
That's
Issachar
right.
is your forefather.
That's
Read.
right.
Which were men that had understanding.
Hold on, they were men that had what?
That had understanding.
How do you think your forefathers got the understanding?
Bring it out, huh?
How do you think they got the understanding? Give me Psalms 111, verse 10. Watch this. I'm going to show you how they got the understanding. Because everybody don't have understanding, right? But let's see about your forefathers. God blessed them and endowed them with certain levels of understanding, which made them different from all people. And you see traces of it throughout y'all history. Read.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Read.
A good understanding.
Hold on, a what?
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
So how do you think the tribe of Issachar had the foundational understanding of what they knew? They were keeping the commandments of God.
That's right.
You understand that? So now back to 1 Chronicles 12, read.
And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times.
Had understanding of what?
Had understanding of the times.
Your forefathers understood the times. They understood the moon, the stars. They understood things. Read.
To know what Israel ought to do.
So your forefathers, the tribe of Issachar, had understanding of the times. So went back to 2nd Ezra now. So now, when the Most High was showing them signs and held still the flood, who do you think was help navigating? The tribe of Issachar, men of understanding, who understood, hey, the time shows, or when you watch movies, when they're on the boat, the water, they looking at the sun, they looking at the moon, knowing high tide, low tide, right? That's your forefathers.
That's
Great Marines, mariners. Read.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 44. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
So while they were navigating from the Euphrates all the way over around Africa, they were docking, they were dropping people off. That's why you will have the so-called what? Slave coast. You will have that. You will have the tribe of Issachar throughout the west coast of Africa. You will have all of that. But the Lord said it took them mainly a year and a half to go from the Euphrates to a land where never mankind dwelt, right? Christopher Columbus called it the New World, right? Now watch this. Read.
And the same region is called Arsareth.
It's called what?
It's called Arsareth.
It's called what?
It's called Arsareth.
So, are you familiar with the name Arsareth? Let's see who is though. Watch this. Give me that. I'm sorry. Yeah. Read this.
This is the Bible Encyclopedias, Arsareth, the 1901 Jewish Encyclopedia.
So you understand the resource we go into is secondary to prove a point, okay? So this is from the Jewish Encyclopedia. Read.
The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses.
Hold on, observing what?
The laws of Moses.
So what were your forefathers doing when they came to this land called Arsareth? What was their purpose? To observe the laws of Moses.
That's right.
Fringes, what you will see here amongst the indigenous people. You will see our indigenous brothers and sisters, they have fringes on their clothes. When they were keeping the new moons, they were operating off of the moon. Are you familiar with this? This is your history. But I'm telling you, it's written in the Bible.
That's right.
The only way I know about your history is because it's in the Bible. And you, my brother, we the same people.
Right. That's right.
Understand how great you are. Your history, your identity, your culture is in the Bible. And you must come back to it. You must return to your God estate. Understand that. Now read on.
Observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration.
Until the time of restoration. That means until Christ comes back to restore all 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Watch this. Read.
According to 2nd Esdras chapter 13 verse 45.
Read.
Columbus.
Hold on. Who?
Columbus.
Columbus. We said Columbus said this land where never mankind dwelt was called the New World, right? Well, let's see what the encyclopedia said Columbus identified this land as. Read.
Columbus identified America.
Hold on, what?
America.
Read.
With this land.
So what is Arsareth? Arsareth is America. So your people came over here at Bible prophecy. Bible prophecy.
Right.
Your history's in the Bible, and our oppressor to this day, Christopher Columbus, is your oppressor. He destroyed your people, along with the Puerto Ricans, along with the Native American Indians here. He destroyed everything that we had. Oppressed, robbed, and killed, raped, and murdered everything. Would you agree?
Bring it out, Rod.
Would you agree? Yeah, right? Because y'all had a mighty Aztecian empire. Hernan Cortez came and took that. You got the Cortezes, right? Fernandez, all these so-called, Spaniard navigators who derive from the so-called white people, Amalek today. They financed the slave trade and everything. But understand this, you got to observe the law of Moses just like she does.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.